Yeah, I think we're live.
Yeah.
So we're live. Welcome everybody to today's live broadcast. It's 9 o'clock in the Pacific Coast. It's 12 o'clock in the Eastern Coast. That's Toronto, New York. It's 5 o'clock in London and also where I am in Lisbon, and 10:30 in India. Sounds like I'm doing a weather broadcast, but really and truly, the point of the matter is we're from all across the world. And our goal is to find a story that we have in common. And we're so excited today to have celebrity activists joining us and asking $1 million question, or if you're in India, it's million rupees. Can a celebrity get you to watch The Dominion? The answer to this question could be yes or no. We'll see how that goes. The whole point is to have a really safe space, a safe and inspiring space where we could explore some of these questions and we could meet celebrity activists. This is part of a larger project that aims to recognize new and diverse role models as celebrity activists. A huge thanks to the Animal Save Movement, Health Save Movement, and Climate Save Movement for co-hosting this live panel along with the Center for Media and Celebrity Studies. My name is Dr. Samita Nandi, and I'm an alumni from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Los Angeles, and I'm also a PhD on celebrity culture, and I'm the founder and director of the Center for Media and Celebrity Studies. A little bit about the Center for Media and Celebrity Studies. It's an international research network that coordinates academic research and media commentaries on fame. We're particularly interested in celebrity activists for humanitarianism, animal rights, and environmental sustainability, like climate change. That's an important issue. And we want to recognize new role models. Are you that role model? Ask yourself, are you a role model? If so, join us, follow us. We're going to have the links to all our pages. Keep an eye on all that. We're going to have more calls for role models. Today, we're really excited to feature our celebrity activists. A huge thanks to the Animal Save Movement. And I am going to start introducing our celebrity activists who are joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us. So first of all, we have Amy Jean Davis from Los Angeles. We have Aprajita Ashish from Mumbai. And we have Kuntal Joisher from Mumbai as well. Thank you for joining us. It's such a privilege to have you. Can you please introduce yourselves to our audience? We'll start with Amy.
Thank you, Samita. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy. I'm in Los Angeles, and I founded LA Animal Save. We are one of the largest chapters from Animal Save Movement, and we frequently have celebrities at our vigils, pre-COVID, and it really does help inspire people to come out and see the animals. And so we really appreciate the power of celebrity. And so some other things about myself. I was a top 24 finalist on American Idol a few years ago, which is actually what brought me to LA, as I grew up in Indiana. My partner, Sean Monson, is the filmmaker behind Earthlings, Unity, and he co-produced Dominion. And I'm also part of a sanctuary called Love Always Sanctuary. So that's about me. And I have a little girl named Phoenix.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's so good to meet you. I think we're talking for the first time today.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Aprajita, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much, Shamita. Hi, everyone. I'm Aprajita Ashish from India. I'm an organizer for Mumbai Animal Save, and we have very much a very big family of Animal Save movement all across India. So many chapters, and I've been working with Animal Save since last 2 years and as a regional liaison for Asia. We have lots of celebrities who are the part of Animal Save movement now, like Sada Sayed and Sanam Puri, and also Kuntal Joshi, who is a very good influencer. And we've been working together all for spreading the awareness and reaching out to a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you, Aparajita. And Kuntal, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I am a software engineer. I live in Mumbai, but my true passion lies in climbing mountains. But truly, one of the big parts of my life, or one of an integral part of my life, is veganism and raising awareness around veganism. I went vegan when I was in Los Angeles back in 2002. So it's been about 18 years that I have been a vegan. And in 2016, I ended up climbing to the top of Mount Everest. And I went back and I climbed to the top of Everest again in 2019. And the sole reason, or one of the biggest reasons why I go and climb mountains, is to prove to people that there's no nutritional deficiency in a vegan diet, or that we are getting enough protein from our diet. So that's that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. You are a living example of change, and I know how powerful this lifestyle style can be. I haven't made to the Mount Everest. I know how much strength that takes. So, congratulations to you. We're very proud of you. Um, I have a question for all the panelists, but we could, take one person at a time. Do you believe that mainstream media, and particularly celebrity activism, is relevant to the kind of work you do? Now, there's no right or wrong answer, but I think I'm very excited to hear what you have to say. So we'll start with Amy.
Okay, can you repeat the question?
Sure. I'll break it down a little bit. Do you think mainstream media or any media is relevant to the kind of work you do?
Okay, I just wanted to be sure. Thank you. Sorry about that. It's critically relevant because lots of people trust what media says, and this can be seen especially in the United States right now. Depending on which media outlet you watch, can dictate some of your actions. And so we want to harness the power of mainstream media as much as possible to help influence people, because what we're influencing them to do is to make healthier choices for themselves and healthier choices for the planet and kinder choices for the animals. So that mainstream media is critical to what we do as animal rights activists, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And also, probably to restore the value of investigative journalism and undercover footage as well. And I feel that it's not represented well, not just in media, but also in the higher education system. Like, we don't really show what's happening behind the scenes. But if we do have access to mainstream media, I think that's very important. And one thing about mainstream media or media activism is celebrity activism. And that holds a lot of value and a lot of power to a lot of this work that you're all doing. So I'm going to jump to celebrity activism. Aprajita, you're also an independent actress, right? Okay, and you
Yes.
do you do work with a lot of rising stars and celebrity activists yourself, and I do recognize you as a celebrity activist. And what would be your response to this question? Is celebrity activism relevant to the kind of work you do?
Yes, Shamita. So, first of all, I want to mention that, yeah, I was in media for quite a while, um, in my 21, like when I was 21 years old. But I have seen a lot of celebrities they have a lot of, influencing power. They are connected to people. They play different roles in different characters, which are so attached to lot of people, and they form a bond of trust with them. So whenever an activist, sorry, celebrity, or an influencer tells or asks people, or they talk about something which sends an awareness message, so people really get influence, and they they trust them. They definitely acknowledge them, and they try to uh, practice what these celebrities are preaching. So this is very important, and I think this is something which we all should bring into the animal rights.
Thank you, Aprajita. Kuntal?
Yes. So, two things. One is, of course, the media, and one is celebrity activism. I'm kind of going to share my thought from my perspective, from my experience. Look, when
Okay.
I'm going and climbing mountains, especially a mountain like Everest, there's a lot of kind of like news exposure around it. Like, if when I climbed Everest and I came back, practically every newspaper in and around India, or at least locally, wanted to write about that I climbed Everest. And so one of the things that I did was, hey, if you are going to write about me, then in the headline you have to write the word vegan. In the text of the like, whatever you are going to write, you have to mention the word vegan at least 10 times. If you're not going to do that, I'm not giving you an interview. I don't need your money. I don't need any name or fame. What I need is, you need to write the word vegan. That's it. That's all I need you. Don't even say my name. Just say Mumbai boy puts the vegan flag on top of Everest. That's all I need you to say. I don't need my name. If it, whatever you want to do, word vegan needs to come into the headline. And this is huge because, as Amy rightly pointed out, that a lot of people believe in mainstream media. They still read newspapers, and they still kind of get influenced by that. So for me, it is super important when I go out and do these climbs that, um, and this is one of the reasons why I do the climb, so that I get the publicity and I can talk about issues that I'm passionate about, veganism being one of them. Second being celebrity activism. And I think that is also super important, because I know, for example, take the case of Virat Kohli, who's a champion cricketer. And the word vegan, for the first time in India, made it to the top of every newspaper, the front page, like in big headlines, saying Indian cricket captain goes vegan or something like that. That is huge, because now suddenly, what, 40, 50, maybe 100 million people are going to suddenly know more about the word vegan. I think that is huge. Sure, maybe tomorrow Virat Kohli says, "Hey, I'm not a vegan," or "Hey, maybe I eat some non-plant based food." That is okay, but at least now 50 million more people know about veganism. Maybe some of them are going to make the shift. There's going to be a lot of tangible impact that we are going to make directly on the lives of animals. So there's a lot of kind of thoughts about, what about celebrity activism. Some of them are fake. They take up, they tell people to go vegan, but then they themselves are not vegan sometimes, and then they fall off the vegan lifestyle, and that has a lot of negative impact. I kind of don't think in that way. I think celebrity activism is quite a bit important, and I am really, really glad that celebrities like Sanam Puri, who I am a really big fan of, and he's a passionate vegan, and he talks about vegan. He doesn't shy away from talking about vegan, or someone like a Lewis Hamilton, who is like a world champion F1 racer. I mean, he's like a historic, like, guy in the sports world, and him constantly talking about veganism, constantly being so passionate about animal rights, passionate about human rights. I think that is huge. I think it brings about a lot of change, and we should definitely kind of leverage that. And we should definitely collaborate with them. And I don't call myself a celebrity. I'm glad you guys are inviting me as a celebrity activist, but I'm not. But I really, really look up to these guys, like someone like a Lewis Hamilton, or a Patrick Baboumian, or someone like a Scott Jurek. All these amazing people doing amazing things. I get influenced by them. A whole bunch of people get influenced by me. I think it's like a big Mexican wave. And if in this way we can create everyone to, like, go vegan, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, and something that I encourage people to consider is just the discourse and the practice of celebrity activism. Whether you are a celebrity or not, whether you are a fan or not, you can still take part in celebrity activism with the help of media technologies. And there's so much to read, and I'm so glad that you mentioned all these names, Kuntal. I mean, just studying them is so worthwhile. And all the questions that you're raising, they're bold, they're urgent. And I'm just going to show my book here. Well, I haven't written, I wrote other books, but this is one of the books that I am a fan of. And it's about celebrity activism all across the world. And it sort of leads me to my next question. Now, Kuntal, you talked about like really encouraging journalists to mention, the word vegan, and of course, Mount Everest, whether they mention you or not, like, mentioning Mount Everest, mentioning your lifestyle is so important, and that should be done 10 times. I really like that. Now, is it easy or challenging for you to talk about it to the media and also your followers? Is it easy or challenging, Kuntal? And then we'll ask Amy and Aprajita.
I think in recent years, veganism has anyways become kind of a exponentially searched topic. Like, to give you an example, in 2016, when I was climbing Everest, I also had another co-climber who was a vegan and climbing Everest. Unfortunately, she ended up dying due to altitude sickness. But the amount of articles that have been written about her death, like, saying, hey, vegan goes and tries climbing Everest but ends up dying. And it was so much negative online clickbaiting that a journalist did. Like, if you still go and type, there's like a million articles just about her. And so it is like, people know about veganism, and a lot more people want to write about veganism. Yes, maybe they want to write it because they want more traffic to come to their site, but I truly think that is good. uh, eh, because when I reach out to journalists, they no longer are like, oh, what is vegan? I don't know what vegan is, or how is this any different from vegetarian, at least in the Indian context. So at least from talking to journalists, I never have had any issues in the last few years. Talking to my followers and talking to people who are connected to me on social media, I think most of them know that majority of the stuff, like 95% of the stuff that I write on my social media is about veganism. So if they are still following me, I am assuming they still want to learn more about it, and they still want to know more about it. So I think I think we have to be our authentic selves. And to me, veganism is such a gigantic part of my life that I simply cannot imagine, like, writing. I have to talk about it all the time, and as much as I can. This is my minute contribution towards saving animals, towards this cause, that a cause that changed my life. So I'm not going to stop. I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but
You
uh,
are. Yeah, you are. It seems like it's not as hard as
yes.
people may think. And it's quite easy actually because, like, you have, sensibilized people, and it's part of your life. It's a positive thing to do. So that's really influential, right? And you're actually like really informing the media in a very strong way. It's good media literacy. It's good media education. I'm gonna talk to Mary very soon, but just quickly, Amy and Aprajita, what do you have to say about this? Like, is it easy or challenging for you to talk to the media when it comes to animals and vegan lifestyle? Essentially, the overall work that you are known for.
Well, I think that it's been harder before, but as time goes on, it has been getting easier and easier. And a lot of that has to do with the celebrities that are out there speaking about veganism who aren't being censored because they're celebrities. So a lot of the power comes from the celebrities already talking about it. Mostly, in my opinion, in a positive light, except for the ones that are no longer vegan. But the other ones that are talking about it in a positive way, that has helped the media become a little less hesitant or reluctant to talk about this. I think that's also due to the plant-based foods industry growing so much, and all of the amazing people that are working so hard to create new plant-based foods, other than the plants that already just exist.
Yeah.
We need to provide people with these foods that they grew up with in order for them to be willing to try them. So the plant-based foods industry has a lot of credit for creating a door for us to speak about veganism and to speak about animal rights with the media, because it's no longer this thing, like Kuntal said, wait, what is vegan? How is it different from vegetarian? It's becoming something that's more understood in the media.
Yeah.
Because of plant-based foods, and people that have a plant-based diet. And so that opens the door to talking actually about animals and animal rights.
Yes, and also I feel vegan fashion as well. Like it's something really exciting, it's entertaining, and I am so amazed to see the glamour in vegan fashion. It's like it's ethical glamour, and it's sustainable. It's something that everybody could do. It's part of my aesthetic communication. When I come to visual storytelling as part of my aesthetic communication, like everything I wear, um, it's so easy. It can be, you know, pretty much vegan. Everything, like no fur, no wool, no silk. So I think the rise of vegan fashion is also very exciting. Aprajita, what would you say?
Yes, definitely. I would like to echo with what Amy said. It's now. I think 2 years ago, when I went vegan, I did not know anyone much. Like how many people would be vegan, and also celebrities. About the celebrities, I did not know. But as soon as the mainstream media has helping animals, they show a lot of things coming up talking about animals. So from that point, now they are trying to raise voice for the animals, and there I see few of the media channels, news channels, are taking using the word vegan. So before I haven't heard like that, national channels using word vegan. So I think yes, it is definitely uh, has impacted and growing.
Yeah, it seems like it's getting easier and more exciting. So thank you for sharing your experience. This is amazing. And if anybody wants to become an ethical role model for humans, for animals, for the environment, I mean, there's no better time to start considering that. I'm gonna invite my co-host Mary Fantasky. She's here. She is a former panelist from the Center for Media and Celebrity Studies, and we had an amazing panel a couple of years ago, and it was all about human rights and animal rights and environmental ethics. And we're so grateful to have Mary today with us. I'll let Mary introduce herself, and Mary, you can ask your next question to our role models here.
Yeah, thank you for the amazing introduction, Samita. I don't feel it's entirely deserved, but yes, we did have, I think about that conference a lot and the conversations it started. And Samita and I were just talking, I think yesterday, about how even though it's years later, this panel almost feels like a logical, not conclusion, but the next step to what we started years ago. And it's really all about for me, and I think for many of us in the community, about creating conversations and spaces for conversations. And that's, what we wanted to do here. But I think Kuntal raises a really excellent point about how, two excellent points. One, that, even if somebody doesn't stay vegan, they got the word vegan in the media. And like Amy mentioned, it wasn't that long ago. I remember when I first went vegan, there was still this confusion in most of the population about, okay, what's the difference? What's the real difference between vegan and vegetarianism? And, what does it matter? And now no one's even asking that anymore. But another really interesting point that you all raised is how now with social media, anyone can be a celebrity activist. It just takes sharing your voice. And I think another goal we have with this panel is to empower other people to be their own celebrity activists, like all of you. And you're all doing amazing jobs, by the way. I just want to say that. But one question we really wanted to address is the idea of representation. A lot of the vegan celebrities in the media are, straight white men and women. And we were wondering, does that make a difference? Does that make a difference to vegan activism and animal rights activism? And so I guess I'll ask Aprajita, if you want to answer the question first, whether you think representation, having a broader representation of vegans, so having, queer vegans, fat vegans, vegans of color, as celebrity activists, do you think that would make a difference to animal rights activism?
Yes, definitely, Mary. Diversity is a very important issue, and I think we need to be inclusive when it comes to animal rights, and in order to reach out to more and more people, it is very important for us to being diverse. If I being somebody from a privileged class, and I want to reach out to people from marginalized communities, I won't be effectively be able to get them involved in the animal rights, and we need their voice. It is very important for us to have leaders to lead the movement who are from the diverse sections. So yeah, I completely agree.
Thank you. That's a great answer, Aprajita. Amy, do you want to give your opinion on this? Thank you.
I would love to. Yeah, thank you. So I think that with lots of vegans in the media, the celebrity vegans being, as you said, white, straight men and women, it speaks to all of the white, straight men and women or boys and girls out there to think, oh, I could totally do that when I grow up. Well, we need to empower the global majority, which are people of color and indigenous peoples, because they're the global majority. They are more of the people on this planet. So we need to empower them by spotlighting people, the vegans that are people of color and indigenous peoples, and show all of the little boys and girls out there that are of color or indigenous that, yes, you can grow up to be a powerful person that's impacting the world for the better and saving the planet, saving animals, saving humankind. So we need to spotlight those people for so many reasons. Also because most of them have to work harder to accomplish what they've accomplished. If they've been able to launch a line of foods or open a restaurant, people that are from the LGBTQ community or people of color or indigenous peoples, they have a harder time doing that. So when they do, we need to celebrate that. We need to put our focus on that, on those accomplishments, to support them, to help them get more success and more recognition and do more for the world. So it's really important that we do that in the animal rights movement.
Thank you, Amy. That's a great answer. And it also just made me think of another point, the fact that a lot of the first vegans, for lack of a better word, were indigenous people and people of color who were just eating plants to begin with. Maybe not entirely vegan, but certainly plant-based. And I think sometimes that is forgotten about in the discourse that we have in mainstream media today. But Kuntal, if you want to speak to this as well, thank you.
Uh, I mean, I completely agree with what Aparajita said and what Amy said, especially around the diversity and inclusiveness. Look, for example, a lot of people write to me saying, "Hey, cool man, you can do this. Oh, you are a vegan and it's so easy." They are looking at the food I'm eating. They are looking at I'm climbing mountains. So they're like, okay, if Kuntal can do it, even I can do it. So similarly, but like if they look at a Brad Pitt and say, oh, if Brad Pitt can do it, can I do it? Or if Rock Dwayne Johnson can do it, can I do it? Sure, I'm getting inspired by them, but can I do it? But look, Kuntal is just like us. He's like the guy next door, but he can climb Everest. So maybe even I can climb my own Everest. So something along those lines, I think we definitely, the movement needs to get more diverse, more inclusive. And as Amy pointed out, we need to throw spotlight across the world, across the countries, uh, across genders, across everything. I mean, we just need vegans of every kind getting the spotlight, uh, and their message going out far and wide. And look, at the end of the day, we all want to do the same thing. We all want to save animals, or I mean, uh, I think we want to minimize our cruelty towards animals. That's all. Everyone has the same goal. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Thank you very much. I feel like I know you're not doing it on purpose, but I could take a million sound bites from what you're saying. For example, like encouraging people to climb their own Everest. Maybe their own Everest is starting a save group that they've been thinking about in their community for years and they've been too nervous to do it. But hey, there's somebody else in a small community who started it. And that's how we grow these celebrity community activists. And by hopefully spotlighting them, we can get them in the more mainstream media. But Samita, do you want to add anything to this? And thank you to all the panelists. Your answers were fabulous.
Yes, thank you. A question that comes to my mind is just a general question, but I think this is going to be helpful for our future role models as well. What kind of risk do you have to take to do this kind of work? I know, like, veganism is becoming more and more easier, it's exciting, but still, not everybody is able to do what you're doing. They can, but they feel like there's some sort of fear or intimidation, some sort of dominance, from the mainstream society. What kind of risk do you have to take in order to do the kind of work that you're doing? Amy, do you want to address this?
Yes, it's an excellent question. And the first risk that you're taking is you're going up against a social norm. The social norm being we love some animals and we kill and eat and wear and use other animals. That is a social norm that is so deeply ingrained in so many cultures on this planet, largely fueled by Western society, where there are the greedy people running huge corporations that make a lot of money off of exploiting the animals of the planet and exploiting the earth and people as well. So there's a lot of power fueling this social norm that has been it has had to been programmed into people, because the days of eating for survival out in the wilderness are long gone. And so this idea that we need to eat animals for protein and we need to drink cow's milk for calcium is just, it's so outdated that it requires a massive propaganda machine pushing that message. So when you speak out against that, you're speaking out against a social norm, and immediately the people around you who are following that social norm are going to look at you like you're weird, you're wrong, something is wrong with you. And it comes from this instinct that it comes from a survival instinct, actually, that somebody who is acting out against what everyone else accepts as the proper way to go is threatening the life of the people that they're in a tribe with. And so it comes from this instinct of, oh no, you're putting us all in danger by going the opposite way. We're no longer needing to live according to our instincts. At least most people on the planet are not. And so we need to decide what our conscious choices and what those choices mean for everyone that's affected by those choices. So going against a social norm is risky in the first place because people are going to look at you like you're weird and that you're doing something wrong. But and that's where the courage comes in. You must have the courage to go against the social norm. And so to do that, you educate yourself, you go out there and you research what is the best diet for humankind, which is a whole foods plant-based diet. And why is it wrong to be using animals and killing animals in all these different ways? You equip yourself with that education, and that will hopefully give you more confidence to go against that social norm, because there's a lot of energy coming at you to continue on with that social norm. So to fight back against that, it takes a lot of courage, but everybody can do it. And you can do it without even having to talk to people in person, especially during a pandemic. You can get on your social media and you can start posting things and just let that information go out and see who it touches, what seeds might be planted. And you don't even need to engage with the people if it is a little too scary for you, which I completely understand, because it took me a very long time to become an activist. I was basically a personal choice vegan for 10 years. I went vegan back in 2002, same as Kuntal. But I was a personal choice vegan for 10 years, which means I wasn't speaking up for the animals. I didn't understand it. And so part of me was scared. Part of me just was not really ready to go against that social norm. It's a big risk. At least it appears to be so, but it turns out it's not. To be on the right side of history is a much greater thing to do as a human being.
If I could just jump in, thank you, Amy. What you ended on, being part of the right side of history, is much greater thing to do as a human. That's an incredible sentiment. But you just had me thinking about, going against social norms and how do you get the courage to do that? And I wonder if we're speaking about representation and reaching out to, queer people, like fat vegans, disabled vegans, a lot of times these people just to exist are already breaking social norms. And for me, that was one thing that made veganism a little less weird, because as a, queer disabled person, I was already weird. And it just had me thinking again about the importance of, lifting up everybody's voice, like every little activist in each Save movement group, everybody has an important story to tell that can reach somebody. But Kuntal, I know you already spoke to the courage it takes, but if you have any more thoughts on the courage it takes to be a celebrity activist, and like Amy said, to speak out against the norm, go right ahead. Thank you.
I think for me, the risk kind of is mostly centered around climbing mountains. I have really never, like, I never thought it was a risk to go vegan. I genuinely never thought in that way. To me, uh, the way I'm built is that if I want to do something, I will do that. I, in that sense, I'm a very kind of an extremist kind of a person. Either I will be on the apathy side of things, or I will be on the extreme opposite side of apathy. And the day I connected the dots that what I'm doing is causing a lot of harm towards animals. That is it. I had to go vegan, and I had to go on the extreme side of that. And so to me, that was not a risk. To me, truly the risk is in climbing mountains and just staying alive and being a good role model, because I don't want anyone to like point a finger at me saying, hey, look, Kuntal lost his fingers on while climbing Everest, it's his vegan diet, because that's what people are going to do. I know that if anything happens to me, even if it's unrelated to veganism, they will tie it back to my veganism. And so to me, it is super important to stay super fit, to constantly train hard, to make good calls when I'm on the mountain, not unnecessarily take risk, and just stay alive and just climb to the top, come back and talk about veganism. So that's my biggest risk.
Thank you. Aprajita, would you like to talk about any risk that you take? You are a risk taker, I know, but what kind of risk do you take every single day as a woman, as a vegan, just like putting yourself online and doing the kind of work you do? I mean, hats off to you.
Thank you, Shamita. So I just what Amy talked about, the social norms. Yes, I completely agree on that. And also, when you go vegan, it's about the community. You go against them. It's about the friends you have since childhood. So they they are like, okay, you're not going to eat this, really? Okay, so they started, it's not easy because we feel like we don't feel accepted by them, and it is completely, visible. um, and also, the main thing which I want to mention is we need to, be in the system and change it. So sometimes, people get out of the system and it is not effective. So we have to be in the system and talk about it, and there's a way to talk about it. um, we have, it's better to go love based. It's very important to be compassionate, because we are compassionate for the animals. It's also important that, you have to compassionate about the other beings, other humans around you. So that's give the right message. When you're talking very compassionately with your colleagues, with your, people in your office, and with your friends, and with your, especially with your family members. So that, that what make you real compassionate being for everyone, as well as animals. So that is the most important thing, which I found it when I became vegan. It was difficult for me, how to go about it, because I was not very open to speak, because I can see people are not accepting me. People have stopped talking to me, and all those things were happening.
But that
Yes.
also happens when, you become a celebrity, I mean, I'm just talking in general, like, when you rise above all those barriers that don't let you who you're meant to be, you face all kinds of challenges. And I think as human beings, we all have that inner fear. We don't want to lose, our society, our family, our friends. So we have that inner fear, most of us, and we're, going against the norm. But at the same time, there's so much value, in fighting for any good cause, right? And I believe that in order to fight for a good cause, you have to be a good human being. And I think that is in the capacity and responsibility of each person. So it's really hard work. So keep doing what you're doing. I can't believe that we're actually like 45 minutes into the talk. Time is flying, and such a wonderful conversation. And the good news is that we have two more sessions coming up. So, everybody, please keep an eye out for the next sessions that are coming up. We're coming to a very, very important question right now, and that's the question of our panel today. Can a celebrity get you to watch Dominion? Who's going to answer that question? Who's going to start?
You know, I'll I know I'm a host, but I'll jump in with a second.
Okay.
I just have one thought, and I think it's that even if we think that we don't care about mainstream media, as somebody who doesn't feel like they fit in with most of society, I always thought, okay, I couldn't care less about the celebrity world. But there's still, the stories still trickle in. So even if you're somebody who thinks, okay, I don't have a social media account, I don't read the newspaper, and you think you don't care about celebrity influence, but I believe you can still be influenced. And that speaks even more so to the power that celebrities have to reach people, that even people who aren't, you know, glued to the TV to find out what the next biggest celebrity is doing, what movie they're going to be in. You don't have to be that person to be influenced. So it speaks even more so to the power that celebrities have. And if I were forced to answer that question, even as somebody who says I couldn't care less about what celebrities are doing, if I saw these celebrities talking about a certain documentary and saying, this is so interesting, this is so important, you have to watch it, I think I would still end up watching it. So what do you think, Aprajita? Do you think a celebrity could get you to watch Dominion, even if you know, let's just pretend you didn't know what Dominion was, but you knew it was about animal rights. Could a celebrity get you to watch it? Go ahead.
Yes, Mary, definitely. A celebrity can definitely get you watch Dominion, because they have a very good reach, and the bond between public and the celebrity is really strong. So, as I mentioned it before, that they are very well connected with their influencer or a celebrity they love, and they want to, you know, follow. They feel like, you know, following them. So whenever a celebrity asks or do something, they get really inspired and they do certain things, and that's how, you know, I think this is a very important tactic to get people not to look away from the suffering ones, and make them, you know, see that, you know, what's happening in the industry, what's, you know, what all things happening to the animals. And also at the same time, how these industries like dairy industry and meat industry are using celebrities. So how they are, you know, conditioning people out there. So they are using celebrities for that reason, and we need to, you know, make take help from celebrities in a very good way. So we are doing the right thing. So I think definitely it is going to a celebrity can help people to watch Dominion.
Thank you.
Amy,
That
did you
was a
want
great
to
answer.
address this?
Go ahead.
Thank you. No, I was just wondering what Amy had to say.
Yes, I definitely think celebrities can get people to watch documentaries like Dominion, and that's one of the primary reasons we go to them, to ask them to be a part of these documentaries. And for me, I will be posting my reaction video to watching Dominion. And one of the things that I'd like to draw a little bit of attention to is, while I'll be watching the film and listening to the celebrities speak, I was there actually for a couple of them recording their lines. And so not only am I going to be hearing their voice and hearing the voices of the animals and seeing their suffering, I'm going to also have a little bit of an inside look into how difficult it was for the narrators to record their narration, because it is such a traumatic, one calls it traumatic knowledge. So to know that they didn't just read the words off the line and or off the page and do their part and thank you very much. It was they were experiencing the trauma that they were reading as they're recording their voice, and that will be part of what I will also be seeing and hearing when I'm watching Dominion. And I'm so grateful to the celebrities who have participated, because, you know, as all of you know, it's not easy to face this traumatic knowledge every day and try to get other people to face it too, so that they change their choices and their behaviors and their lifestyles. So I'm just thankful that they're willing to participate and use their power to draw people in. And it does work, and it is a powerful way to get people who otherwise would probably never watch a film like Dominion to watch the film. Same thing with Earthlings. People just watch it because Joaquin Phoenix is listed, and it's a powerful way to reach people, and it can't be understated, and it shouldn't be overlooked. And quickly, I just want to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you for having me on to speak about this very important topic.
Thank you for being here. The next question is similar, but it's a little reverse. Do you think that you could get a celebrity to watch Dominion?
I personally am definitely trying to get celebrities to watch Dominion. Any and all celebrities that I have a connection with, I want to see if they are going to be, if they're willing to face this kind of truth, because you know, it's hard to watch the suffering and then go, I'm just going to keep living my life the same. So if I can get them to watch it and be a part of that, I'll be, you know, grateful to that.
Yeah, it's part of the same celebrity activism. Anita Crank has a question for you, Amy. Did you play a role in asking the celebrities to narrate Dominion?
I can't remember exactly if it was Sean or I that approached Joaquin and Rooney about being a narrator. I can't remember. It was, you know, a few years back. But I have been a part of asking them to be involved in things in the past. I just can't remember which one is which. Sean and I work as a team in that way. So Sean, definitely, he's the one who knows these people, are friends with these people. I've worked with them due to his work with Earthlings. And so I'm very grateful to Sean for the work he's done and the relationships that he's maintained, finding those celebrities that are willing to say, if there's a hard truth that you need me to help promote, I'll be there. So I'm really grateful to Sean for his work. But I was there for some of the narration recording, and it's just being in that moment, just knowing how much more power the film is going to have, and how many more eyes and ears are going to see it and hear it because they're lending their voice. It gave me, you know, this great overwhelming feeling of hope. And so I hope it continues to impact people who need to see.
Yeah, it takes a lot of resilience, and it's that act to will, you know, for an actor to be an activist, it's coming from the same place. It's that act to will. So, yeah, thank you for reaching out to the celebrities that you just mentioned. Aprajita and Kuntal, what would you say? How would you address this question? Could you get a celebrity to watch Dominion?
You want to go first, Aprajita?
Hey, Aprajita.
Okay. So yeah, I was reaching out to some of the celebrities, but it was really hard for me to ask a vegan celebrity to watch Dominion. So I have asked them to make a video so that, you know, and we have made a video where a celebrity is asking the audience and the people to watch Dominion. So I'm also trying, especially the non-vegan celebrities, to watch Dominion. So I think that is something which will be really effective, because that is going to change them as well as the audience, and the message will also be spread. So yeah.
So
Kuntal?
yes, the answer is yes. Kuntal, what would you say? Can you get a celebrity to watch Dominion?
First of all, if someone asked me this question, can I, like you asked the question that can I watch Dominion, knowing what Dominion is, and I have seen about 10-20 seconds of that movie, or even 30 seconds of that movie, I cannot see Dominion. It's just impossible for me to see Dominion. It's super difficult. And I remember back in 2002 when I went vegan, it was due to a couple of cruelty videos. And in last 18 years, I have never seen a cruelty video. It is just incredibly hard. That is the reason why I am a vegan. It's just hard to see all that suffering, and even hearing about it is traumatic. Seeing Dominion, from whatever I have heard from everyone, I, I dread even taking the Dominion challenge. Now, if I would have never known anything about Dominion, and one of my friends or one of my celebrity, some influencer who I was following, they would have posted about it, I would have definitely got an influence to watch it. So yes, I'm also going to try and reach out to people in the mountaineering community, people in the athletic community, people non-vegan, vegan, all kinds of celebrities. I'm just going to reach out to them and see if they have seen Dominion. If not, they should, and hopefully spread the message. Ask everyone to see.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's a couple of minutes, the challenge is probably how long could you watch? You know, is it a couple of minutes? Is it the whole movie? I watched Earthlings after going vegan, and I watched the entire film, and it was definitely very difficult. What gave me a lot of strength to watch that impossible, horrific film was probably my academic background. Like I was stunned to see what kind of cultural norms we have. Like it was really like drawing on cultural studies, and I was like, wow, like in the most disgusting way. Like this is really what's in practice. And it helped me to make connections with the zoos, the fashion industry. It was like mind blowing. Like, I don't have a better word to say. It's like I'm probably running out of words right now. Like, I think it's really the connections that you made. But yes, I mean, if you don't eat animals, wear animals, it's probably because like what's going on, and it's really for other people to see, to educate themselves. And the film is on YouTube. We're getting very close to our closing time. Mary, did you want to ask any further question, share any thought?
Yeah, I just had a thought. My Earthlings experience was probably a little unique. I forgot about this until now, but I was vegetarian. I went to Farm Sanctuary to be an intern. And it was one of the first nights I was there. So it was one of the first nights I was vegan because I was living on site. And so I had this really bizarre, very painful experience of watching Earthlings in its entirety at night, and then waking up at like 6 in the morning to go and look after animals who had been rescued from these exact same circumstances. Um, and I think those two things, seeing the truth, but then, oh, there goes my phone, of course. Seeing the truth, but then also making the connections to the animals. I think sometimes when people see things that traumatic, it's easy to put it to the back of your mind, or to not even allow yourself to make the connections with the actual animals that are there. And so I think that speaks to the importance of this whole campaign, right? It's not just to watch Dominion. Yes, that's the main, what we've been putting out there with the hashtag, but then, watch Dominion and then come to a vigil, or watch Dominion and visit a sanctuary, and actually look at the animals in the eye and have that truth affirmed. And yes, it's traumatic, but it's also one of the most powerful things, is that direct interaction. And I think there's also something to say for the powerful interaction between activists and communities and humans, and it's through these connections that we can make change, and through these connections with celebrities especially, and their important role in society, that we can make a big difference. So this campaign and the combination with the Animal Save movement, I think, is one of the most powerful ways to make a change or start making a change in society. So I just want to thank all of you for joining and helping us really start these conversations. I know this was sort of a new thing for a lot of us, and I just cannot say enough how much I appreciate every single one of you for joining. Thank you. I learned a lot from listening to your stories. You're all incredible people. So just thank you very, very much.
It was so exciting to finally meet in person. Like, I wish it was really like in person, which I'm sure it's going to happen. But just to share this space was just incredible. We have so many comments and questions coming in, but I'm probably going to take one question here before we end. This is for Amy. How many views do you foresee the film will gain as a result of celebrities taking the challenge? Do you have any thoughts on this? Just a prediction. How many views do you foresee the film getting on YouTube?
My prediction is there will be millions of views, and that's the appropriate number. Millions. And honestly, you never know when a social justice problem fight is going to actually get that kind of mainstream coverage from the people. And so I have great hope that as long as we keep doing our part on behalf of the animals and asking people to watch these documentaries like Dominion, it will suddenly just build that momentum. And then everybody, you must watch, because these are the truths that have been hidden from you. And you need to be an informed citizen for yourself and for citizens around the world, and of course for the animals. So I think that we will be getting, we'll start to see millions of views, and that this dark, scary reality that goes on for animals and a lot of humans as well will come into the light, and people will band together around the world to say, we're done. We're not going to support this anymore. There is a better way to live. We can eat plants. We can have a plant-based food system, and everybody gets food. We destroy the earth way less than what we're doing now. We can, ward off climate change. There's a lot that will be healed by switching to a plant-based food system. And I believe that getting people to see the truth in Dominion will get us much closer to that.
Well, let's end on that hope of 1 million viewers. And I think that's appropriate. That's what the film deserves. And I wasn't really dreaming when I had that $1 million question today. Can a celebrity get you to watch Dominion? We're going to continue with this conversation in the next 2 sessions. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want to thank everybody for being with us. This has been so exciting. And we're going to continue the conversation, of course, in the next 2 panels. But in the meantime, check the event page, because we're going to continue posting them there, as well as on our Instagram and our Twitter. Please check back. We're going to post the links again, and join us next weekend. Thank you so much.